Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. Let's get back to this abbreviation review that we had started previously, and some of the words in here that you may or may not brief are expect, amend, concern, address, legislate, cooperate, economy, economic, legislature, appropriation, administer, experience, appropriate, economical, cooperation, amendment, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. Ready? Here we go. The legislator was cooperative. Who is going to be the administrator? They asked for a new appropriation of 1 million or so. The economic conditions are reflected in the buying power of the dollar. Are you experienced with the program? You must make amends before you continue. How long have you been experiencing this particular problem? Her concerns are not my concern. Is there much cooperation among members? The nurse administered medication. She always cooperated in economizing. Your expectations are unrealistic. The senator is cooperating in amending the legislation. I expected it to be a pleasant experience. Administer the medication every 2 hours. They legislated an amendment. You are not addressing the issue. He wrote about his experiences. He has new administrative responsibilities. All right, now we'll try some jury charge. And this is one we had started previously. We'll read a bit more from this. The subject is recovery suit. Ready? Here we go. The prayer of said petition then prays for a usual foreclosure, judgment, and decree that the plaintiffs recover the principal sum of $20,300 with interest thereon at the rate of 5% per annum plus $1,000 as reasonable attorney's fees as provided for in the note of the mortgage and the costs of the suit. Further, the petition asks that the court decree to the plaintiff, Revere State Bank, from said principal and interest, the sum now due the bank on the $2,000 loan alleged in the petition, and further that the plaintiffs, John Evans and Ida Evans, have a deficiency judgment against the defendants for any deficiency remaining after application of the proceeds of the sale of said premises on the amount found due. The answer of the defendants admits the execution and delivery of the promissory note and mortgage to the plaintiffs, John Evans and Ida Evans, but denies each and every other allegation contained in our petition. The answer also states that the note and mortgage were delivered to said plaintiffs, John Evans and Ida Evans, relying upon their representations and warranty that the title to the lands described in the mortgage was free of defects and encumbrances. So we'll get back to this jury charge in a bit, but that's a new one for us to maybe add to our challenging word list. Encumbrances. Encumbrances. All right, this literary is called An Engineer Testifies. Ready? Here we go. The proposal was to put a row of heavy concrete piles along the west face of the building by drilling some borings which varied in diameter up to 42 inches, and reinforcing these heavily with steel and tying the tops back by means of tie rods under the house to an anchor located to the east of the house. The lower portion of these piles was to extend deep enough into the underlying rock so that the pile would act as a beam for support and to compensate for a tendency of the soil to the east of the piles to move down the slope. Along the west side of the house was a connecting beam, and at each of the locations of the original piers, a strut was placed so that the foundation was prevented from moving laterally due to effects of the tendency of soil to move downward. It was then assumed that where it was necessary, the existing caissons would be cut off and the house could be jacked up until it was level. Then concrete would be packed above that. All right, let's practice a little more of our jury charge. Ready? Here we go. If not, the plaintiffs would clear the title to the satisfaction of the defendant's attorney, which they alleged the plaintiffs have failed to do. One other thing, the plaintiffs represented that there was an appropriation of water for the irrigation of a portion of said lands, and that there is no such appropriation of water to any part of said lands. Defendants then state that they elect to cancel their agreement and sue for monies paid to the plaintiffs. By way of cross petition, defendants state that there was an oral agreement between John Evans and Ida Evans and the defendants to buy from the plaintiffs the land described in the cross petition. Defendants further allege as a part of this oral agreement that plaintiffs were to convey to defendants all land improvements, including the first water right out of Trail Creek for the irrigation of a portion of said land for the total sum of $25,300 payable according to the allegation of the cross petition. They stated that the representation that there was a water right was a part of the oral agreement. They delivered their note and mortgage to the plaintiffs, John Evans and Ida Evans. All right, let's try this literary, and its title is A Real Estate Case. Ready? Here we go. As previously stated, the frontage of the property is a curving line, and the actual improvements that were going from the northerly part of the property were in a straight line along the frontage, and then there was an extension out toward the boulevard. Then there was another straight line back to the south. At the immediate front and the south portion of the building, there was an entrance into the building by means of a flight of stairs. It was a short flight of stairs, a landing, and then it went into the building there. The entrance area led into the general offices and into the private offices and into the rest of the building. I have measured this, so I think it is reasonably accurate. The part that is actually being taken away, I have denoted by means of a red crayon that runs across the frontage part of the building, and this is the portion which is, generally speaking, the Roman brick part of the building. By means of quite a bit of study, I found what uses this whole building was being put to, what the flow of traffic of the business itself was, and studied the application and uses of this company. I also ascertained the needs of this structure and of this operation. Incidentally, the operation, as I find it, is one that operates 6 days a week and on 2 shifts every day. It operates 6 days a week with a great lot of overtime. Actually, it amounts to about 2.5 shifts, 6 days a week, in order to operate this business that they have. And that will conclude our literary and jury charge practice.